Part 17, Gods of the Mountain Ranges. Discourse 17 of 20, Beloved God Tabor. 10th January 1962, Beloved God Tabor. Beloved of my heart, I wish to bring something to your attention tonight concerning the mountain ranges of the world. It is this: there is stored within the mountain ranges certain forces that are concentrated. They are cosmic energy located within the mountain ranges, storing up, as it were, a certain concentration of energy that gradually is dispensed down to the lower levels as it is needed. But don't forget this. There are certain forces stored in the mountains that never go to the lower levels. They are a concentration of the electronic force from the physical sun and other activities held there to pour the radiance of that energy as it goes forth into the atmosphere of the world to hold certain pressure that governs conditions at the lower level. Just as the mountain ranges are the custodians, so to speak, of certain cosmic activities of electronic force which is sent down into the lower levels from time to time as it is needed, when you keep your attention to your beloved I Am presence, or the ascended host, your attention connects with the higher activities of life that we control and the greater activities of life that your electronic presence and higher mental body control. This is dispensed into the outer self from time to time as the outer self calls it into the outer physical activities for your use in daily life. Now, as you look at the causal body and you see those rays of light coming forth from the electronic presence, that is a constant sending forth into manifestations, great streams of life, constantly producing perfection in manifestation, both in this physical world and in cosmic activities with which the electronic body is concerned. When you understand that this outer self, the life and the desire in the outer self, the feeling, has the capacity to reach up to those cosmic activities that are going forth all the time to bless life everywhere, and you can reach to that and draw it into yourselves or into outer world conditions by your love to it, by your call to it, and by your use of it in the physical activities of the outer world, the same thing is true of the mountain ranges. The same thing is true of the ascended master retreats throughout the world. All of these great cosmic activities of life are the divine plan's orderly, prepared way to keep manifestation in constant action, always pouring forth perfection which mankind can call into outer physical conditions as the outer action requires. Life is so wonderful in its ever-expanding release of perfection, always wanting to give of itself into all manifestation, that there may be only perfection here in the physical octave or anywhere else in interstellar space. The concentration of the power from the physical sun and other activities in the system is located in the retreats of the ascended masters throughout the world, almost all of which are in the highest peak of each range, with the exception, perhaps, of Shambhala in the south-central part of the Gobi Desert. Most of the ascended master retreats throughout the world are in the highest peak of each mountain range. That is because there is drawn into those retreats the concentrated action of the sacred fire, which is constantly giving off purifying energy into the outer use of mankind. This is a location of the fire element, And I am speaking now of the sacred fire from our octave, the ascended master's octave, which is eternally sustained, perfect balance of love, wisdom, and power. As it pours forth the radiation of its energy, everything through which it passes will receive of our love, wisdom, and power. And that will strengthen within individuals who are embodied in this world. So each one's qualities and powers of life can be expanded and set into dynamic use for the outer self to use to produce physical manifestation in this world that affects not only the individual, but all other beings in this world. This arrangement is a cosmic, ever-sustaining supplying activity of the greater purity, the greater powers of life, always waiting to pour them through individuals or through the powers of nature into the outer activities of life everywhere, always to produce perfection. Now, many people are perfectionists so far as their desires are concerned, but there's a great deal of mankind that isn't much concerned about perfection in the present state of limitation. When that takes place, there must come a concentration of this electronic force of eternal purity. That must go into the mental and feeling world of the mass of the people all over the world if you are ever going to cut them free from their human creation and awaken them to the purpose of life. In the sordid conditions of the various portions of the world where such impurity has accumulated, by conscious command, by conscious direction of the cosmic beings who have drawn these activities of the sacred fire into the mountain ranges, that can be poured forth to the masses of the people to purify them to a certain place, certain extent, until the consciousness within awakens to the desire to reach up and live in some way better than what they are in now. When you see the teeming masses of the people throughout the world that are in those conditions and have been for centuries, you must know that someday, sometime, somewhere, there's going to be an action of the sacred fire that consumes that frightful miscreation which is mankind's selfishness objectified. Therefore, to those of you who know this law, those of you who call to us, can have not only unlimited help for yourselves, but you can call forth the cosmic streams of purifying electronic force from the mountain ranges of the world, and consciously ask for them to be directed where purification is needed most. If you will notice, a very great deal of the contamination of great masses of people is in the tropics. Well then, that's where purification must come. Therefore, the concentrated energy that is in the mountain ranges of the world can be called forth and projected by the gods of the mountains into those areas of a nation where purification needs to take place. That's why there are 4 gods of the mountains. That is our service to life. We consciously direct that. But those of you who know this law and know of our existence and our power can, by conscious command, have all you want in your own localities or in any special service that you wish to give to life. We have unlimited electronic force at our command, not only what we direct in the mountain ranges of the world, not only what is anchored within our retreats as a focus of the sacred fire, but at any time we are free to draw a sun presence of any special activity of the sacred fire into these conditions of the outer world and establish that as a radiating center to continually purify a locality or a condition until the life in the human beings in that locality awakens to something better than it is in at present. When you see what mankind has done with life and to life by human desire, when you understand it as we do, you will never again allow your human desires to have dominion in you. You never again will want anything that is human desire. When you see what it has led to, when you see what it has imposed upon life, when you see what degradation human beings have gone into because they have gratified human desire, you will one day plead with us for the purity of our realm to concentrate its sacred fire into those conditions that human desire has created. It is not well to become indifferent to the demand of the cosmic law for the purity of God's way of life to be the law of a nation or a civilization or of the world. Sometime the cosmic law may permit us to take groups of unascended beings to the inner level and make you behold what people have done to create these conditions. And when you do, every desire in you will be gone except to become as we are. Everyone doesn't want that experience, but some of them are going to get it anyway. Now, from the human sympathy standpoint, many people in the outer world want to correct these conditions as best they know how. But before the physical assistance can become permanent, the inner light must come to the minds of the people who need assistance. And that inner light comes from the radiation in the mountain ranges and from the gods of the mountains who direct that energy. We are cosmic illumining beings to the humanity of this earth, and that is why mankind has never conquered the mountains and never will. They remain an unexplored, impassable manifestation to unascended beings until assistance is given by those who are the gods of the mountains and the other cosmic beings who direct the sacred fire to this world. It is my privilege to be the guardian of that electronic force in the North American continent. There's no limit to what you as individuals can have in your own individual activities if you form the habit of daily asking for the invincible power and purity of the gods of the mountains and the mountain ranges of this nation to pour forth their blessing, not only to you individually, but into those conditions of the masses of the people that will force them to awaken. The awakening must be forced, beloved ones, because people do not awaken of their own free will when they are hypnotized and bound by the human creation of centuries of generation. We are one activity of the cosmic law's purification to the mankind of this world, and if we did not do this, you would not have a sustaining purifying activity of life powerful enough to offset mankind's frightful accumulation of evil. So, the balance must be maintained, that those of you who have conscious knowledge of our existence can have the blessings and the power of the mountain ranges brought in and around yourselves and your outer activities with very great blessing. And I assure you, all the power that comes from the mountain ranges is invincible purification. Therefore, whatever you want, the strength and purity in yourselves, or your affairs, or your locality, can be assisted greatly by that power which we direct. Now, if this were not the divine plan, beloved ones, there would not be the Ascended Master retreats throughout the world. Each is in charge of a department, so to speak, and governs that entire activity. And while the service is to the masses of the people, yet the individual who is aware of our presence and will make the call can have our special help and assistance to you in whatever you wish to do to bring purity in and around yourselves or your location or to conditions in the outer world. We are definitely cosmic beings of the purifying legions of the sacred fire to the earth, and because of that, those of you who through your decrees have called forth purity into the physical structure of earth and into the mankind of this world, to you we can give boundless blessings and wondrous gifts if you care to become a daily outpouring of the purity from the gods of the mountains to whatever life you contact. You can be like an ambassador sent on a special mission to accomplish a certain victory. You can be our outpost, as it were, a sun presence that can draw the strength and the energy and the purity of the mountain ranges in and around yourselves. Then you ask us to direct it in any special locality with which you are concerned, and if that is established as a habit, we establish at the inner level a pulsation that will continue until the work is accomplished. All it takes is your assurance to us by your deeds that you are going to keep at this until it is accomplished. As soon as you've set the habit of calling regularly, we will set the habit, and we will set the focus and outpouring into action just like a heartbeat, and wave after wave of that can come to purify conditions that otherwise are not purified. You would be surprised how much violet flame is focused into the mountain ranges of the world. There's a very great concentration of it in the mountain ranges of the world. That's why you have the beautiful violet colors so often in the mountain ranges. They are great oceans, so to speak, of cosmic, purifying, sacred fire love and blessing to life, to bring perfection without limit. It is given without limit, without money, without price, all. It is always continually flowing, but a concentrated action of it can come into you or any special place where you want it directed for any special purpose. We will establish there ultimately an action of the sacred fire. If you ask it, you establish the habit of daily giving it recognition and making your call. One day, wherever you ask that to come forth, there will be a focus of the sacred fire that can be made eternal to this world. And that can be in your homes as well as everywhere else. Thank you so much. Now, the explanation I have given tonight is that I may give you this which you need, which the world needs, which is here in the physical octave of earth for the blessing to mankind. And all it takes is someone awakened to the way we give the greater blessings of life to the lesser life that needs blessing. So, blessed ones, I can be a very close friend to you for eternity if you care to be an outpost of my blessings of the mountain ranges that are needed in the lower levels of your nation, the lower country. You have had much contact with the mountain ranges, and, as you say in your slang phrase, you haven't seen anything yet, aside of what I can show you. The blessed goddess of justice has much to reveal. And if you could see the perfection in the retreats of the ascended masters, you would know that the divine design, the divine plan of life, is to provide that which ultimately is ever expanding perfection for eternity. In the retreats where the sacred fire is drawn, a certain amount of perfection is created and established. That becomes an eternal part of this world, and as time goes on, more and more of that must come into the outer physical conditions of this world in order to perfect them. So, we trust you may all be ambassadors from the gods of the mountains to bring, wherever you abide, the purity and the blessing of our power to raise life to greater perfection. This is the way the greater is given to the lesser life, but the lesser must reach up and desire it. So we are trusting that you will desire it enough to awaken the rest of mankind wherever you abide. You could awaken people silently. You don't always have to speak to them. There are many things you can do with the violet-consuming flame or other activities of the sacred fire, and all you need to do is to ask us to set it there. That shouldn't be too difficult. To ask us to do something that makes your world better ought to be a great joy to you. It is to us. We are happy to give you the greater blessings that are given to us to make you one day an ascended being. So, you can do the same thing. Ask for our blessings to come to the rest of life wherever you abide, and one day make all in this world arise, be raised into the Ascended Master's octave of perfection. That's the only way it will ever be built, is by unascended beings making the call for the perfection to come here. Perfection is in the universe. Life has given it. Life wants to give it. Life here should have it. We are ready to give it. Is there a reason in the world why it shouldn't be here? Now, if I get some hurry calls for what is in the mountain ranges of this continent, it's all right with me. The more you can give me, the more I can keep you busy, and you won't be unhappy either. And I teach you through the marvels of the powers in the mountain ranges. I can teach you what you will not learn anywhere else, because that is the schoolroom of which I am the authority, which life has provided, which is ever ready to bless you, and someday you must learn and use. So, I trust you will come to the mountains as often as possible. I trust we may establish a daily pulsation of all of our blessings, at least to those under this radiation, until enough purification has taken place in the world to reveal us to the mass of the people. So, precious ones, I am pleading to give you my gift tonight, and I just hope you'll have a continuous use for it, and you bring it into the physical world, that your fellow man may one day be aware of our presence. And I hope that we may give our gift with the mightiest power in creation to show mankind the right way to live life. You can be part of the legions of our light to unascended mankind as you yourselves enjoy the blessings of the mountains, at least when you come to visit with us. And if you can remember us the rest of the time, your blessings will fill your world also. I just hope you want our world to come into yours and give you all the perfection and the joy which is ours, and as soon as possible. Thank you so much. I know you usually think you have to have the summertime to come to the mountains. Some of you come in the winter, but be not concerned about the season of the year. Just make your calls every day for the gods of the mountains, not just myself, the other gods of the mountains, to draw in and around you all of their blessings that they know you can use and that will perfect your world and enable you to be the blessing to all you contact that will raise all into outer greater perfection for eternity. And we shall bless you without limit, and you shall be our family of the mountains. And many, many wonderful things are in the mountains that neither you nor any of mankind have ever heard of. So, one day you are to experience the beauty, the perfection, and the power that life has placed in the mountain ranges for those who come our way of life. And I am awaiting the hour when your enjoyment and mine will be for eternity, as I reveal to you that which human eyes have never yet beheld. There are blessings beyond measure that we can give. We want you to have them. So if you'll call for them, I will await your call, and the blessing shall one day fill you and your world, and as soon as you want it. Thank you with all my heart.